My friend, let me ask you a question that might sting. Did you really choose the life you're living right now? Or did you just accept the script they put in front of you? Wake up, work, consume, sleep, and repeat. Day after day, week after week, year after year. And you know what's scariest? You probably call this responsibility, maturity, adult life. But what if I told you that you were trained since childhood to accept a prison without bars, to love your own chains, to defend the system that keeps you trapped? The truth is life isn't fair, it never was. Some are born with every door open, others have to break down each one. If you lost in the birth lottery, if you didn't inherit fortunes or powerful connections, then you need to face a harder reality. You're going to need to work much harder, learn what nobody taught you, unlearn what they programmed you to believe. And even then, the odds are against you because the game was designed for you to lose. Here's the paradox nobody wants to admit. They told you education is the path to success, so you studied. They told you hard work brings rewards, so you worked. They told you being responsible means having a stable job, so you settled down. And now you're exhausted, in debt, stuck in a routine that drains your soul, looking at your bank account wondering where you went wrong. The answer will shock you. You didn't go wrong, you just followed the instructions. And the instructions were designed to keep you exactly where you are. In the next few minutes, I'm going to show you something school never taught, that your parents probably don't know, that the system doesn't want you to discover. I'm going to reveal why there are two games happening simultaneously, and you're playing the wrong one. I'm going to explain why working hard will never make you rich, why your diploma is a certificate of conformity, and why debt is the modern chain that binds you better than any handcuffs. This isn't going to be pleasant, my friend. It's going to destroy some beliefs you've carried for years. But if you're tired of running on a treadmill that leads nowhere, if you're ready to face uncomfortable truths, then stay with me until the end. Because freedom doesn't begin when you have enough money. It begins when you finally understand that you were domesticated, programmed, conditioned to serve a system that often doesn't serve you. And the first step to escaping the rat race is admitting you're in it. So take a deep breath, open your mind, and prepare your heart. What comes next could completely change how you see your life, your work, and your future. Let's go. Have you ever stopped to think about how many decisions in your life were really yours? Since childhood, they taught you there's a right path to follow. Wake up early, go to school, sit in silence, raise your hand to speak, and obey without questioning. This training wasn't an accident, my friend. It was by design. Modern society created a system so efficient that you don't even notice the bars around you because you learned to call them structure, responsibility, and adult life. Fear became this system's most valuable currency. Think about it. From the first day at school, you learned a lesson that never appeared on the blackboard. Obey or suffer the consequences. The red mark, the disappointment in your parents' eyes, the judgment of classmates, all calibrated to create an automatic reflex of submission in you. You don't even notice anymore, but this fear still governs your choices today. The fear of losing your job, of not paying the bills, of disappointing those you love, and of being seen as a failure. Now observe what they never taught you in school. Nobody explained how money really works, how to invest, how to build wealth, and how the banking system creates money out of thin air. You learned about mitochondria, ancient wars, equations you never used again, but nothing about compound interest or income-generating assets. But a financially educated worker is a dangerous worker for the established order because he understands he's being exploited and might start questioning why he works 40 years to enrich others while barely able to pay his own bills. The educational system was designed at the height of the Industrial Revolution to produce obedient workers, not independent thinkers. You learned to follow instructions, not to question authority. You learned to solve problems others defined, not to identify which problems really matter. They taught you about the value of hard work and loyalty, values very convenient for those who need cheap and stable labor. But they never taught you there's a fundamental difference between working for money and making money work for you. This simple distinction that separates those who build wealth from those who spend their entire lives chasing it. When you finally leave school and enter the real world, the trap closes completely. Without financial knowledge, you make the worst possible decisions with the little money you earn. You buy a financed car, use your credit card as an extension of your salary, Confuse liabilities that drain money with assets that generate income. You work 40, 50, 60 hours a week, but your money doesn't work at all. It sits in your checking account losing value to inflation, or worse, it's invested in financial products that only enrich banks while giving you miserable returns. Financial ignorance turns you into an eternal consumer of bad financial products and an eternal producer of wealth for others. You're the system's most valuable asset, my friend, and you don't even know it. The knowledge that truly liberates isn't in any official curriculum. You need to learn on your own that there are only two real economic classes: those who live off passive income and those who live by exchanging time for money. The middle class believes it's on the path to the first category, but in reality it's just the better paid version of the second. The doctor, the engineer, the lawyer, all trapped in the same trap because the more they earn, the more they spend, the more they need to work. Let me tell you something nobody wants to openly admit. The absence of financial education in schools isn't an oversight, it's a deliberate choice. You spent 16 years being prepared for the job market, memorizing formulas, historical dates, concepts you never saw again. But nobody sat with you to explain how the money game really works. Nobody taught you about the brutal difference between active income and passive income, between building wealth or just maintaining a job. And you know why? Because a worker who understands the game is a worker who can refuse to play by someone else's rules. Think about this for a moment. Can you explain what compound interest is? Do you understand how the stock market works, real estate funds, and treasury bonds? Can you differentiate a real asset from a disguised liability? Most people can't, my friend, and it's not their fault. The system was designed to keep you in financial darkness because too much light might reveal the emperor has no clothes. When you understand how money multiplies, how wealth accumulates, how the rich get richer while they sleep, you stop accepting crumbs as if they were banquets. The average worker wakes up, goes to the office, spends 8 hours generating value for someone else, comes home exhausted, and repeats everything the next day. He sells his time, his creative energy, his mental health for a salary that barely covers the month's expenses. And here comes the saddest part. He thinks he's building something, that he's progressing, that he's doing the right thing. But the truth is he's on a treadmill rolling backward, running faster and faster just to stay in the same place. Meanwhile, there's another category of people who understood a simple but revolutionary secret. These people don't sell time, they sell systems. They don't trade hours for dollars, they build machines that generate money while they live their lives. They buy an apartment and rent it out, the tenant pays the mortgage and they keep the asset. They invest in dividend-paying stocks, receive money every month without lifting a finger. They create intellectual property, a book, a course, software, and receive royalties forever. They set up businesses that function with or without their physical presence. This is the game the rich play, my friend, and it's a completely different game from what they taught you to play. The difference is in understanding. You can work 12 hours a day for the rest of your life and never accumulate real wealth if you don't understand this basic principle. Time is finite, you only have 24 hours in a day, no matter how talented or dedicated you are. There's a natural ceiling to how much you can earn selling your hours. But money doesn't have this limit. It can work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. While you sleep, your stocks are generating value, your properties are being paid for by tenants, and your royalties are dropping into your account. The most brutal part is realizing the banking and tax system was designed to amplify this difference. Banks offer cheap credit to those who are already rich and expensive credit to those who are poor. The best investment opportunities require high minimum capital, leaving out precisely those who most need to grow. Tax laws favor those with capital income over those with labor income. An investor pays less tax percentage-wise than a salaried worker. The game isn't just different, my friend. It's deliberately unfair, designed to concentrate wealth instead of distributing it. And until you learn the real rules, you'll keep playing the wrong game. Here's a truth nobody wants to admit because it completely destroys the illusion of meritocracy that keeps the system running. The rich don't play the same game as you, my friend. They taught you that wealth is the result of hard work, education, and discipline. That if you try hard enough, study enough, wake up early enough, you'll get there. But observe the truly rich. They don't work more hours than you, They're not necessarily smarter, they haven't sacrificed more. The difference isn't in the effort, it's an understanding that there are two completely different boards, and the masses spend their entire lives playing on the wrong board without realizing another one exists. In the game they taught you to play, you exchange time for money. You study to get a better job, you work to receive a salary, you save to buy things. This game has a natural limit built into it from the start. You only have 24 hours in a day. No matter how hard you try, there's a ceiling to how much you can earn selling your time. And even worse, in this game you're a cost that needs to be minimized. Every raise you get is less profit for whoever employs you. You're structurally positioned to lose, my friend. The most you can achieve in this game is to survive comfortably, never to prosper exponentially. In the game the rich play, money works for them while they live their lives. They buy income-generating assets. Businesses, real estate, stocks, copyrights, and intellectual property. While you sleep, their money is working. While you're on vacation, their businesses keep producing. They don't sell time, they sell systems that multiply themselves. They don't trade hours for dollars, they multiply capital through financial leverage. And here's the most brutal part nobody told you. The more money they have, the easier it becomes to make even more money. It's a self-feeding cycle. Let me give you examples so you understand how this works in practice. A salaried worker earns $5,000 a month, pays income tax on it, ends up with about $4,000, spends $3,500 on expenses, has $500 left to invest if he's lucky and disciplined. Now take a guy who has $1 million invested in real estate funds paying 6% a year. He receives $5,000 a month without working a single hour. He pays less tax percentage-wise because it's capital income, not labor income. And the main thing, the million is still there generating forever. The worker sells his life in monthly installments. The investor harvests fruits from a tree he planted once. The banking system amplifies this inequality obscenely. If you're poor and need $10,000, the bank charges you 15% interest a year because you're considered high risk. If you're rich and want $1 million to invest in real estate, the bank gives it to you at 3% because you have collateral and history. The best investment opportunities, exclusive funds, private stock offerings, premium real estate deals, all require minimum capital of $100,000, $500,000, $1 million. Precisely those who most need to grow are left out of the game, while those who already have money access the best returns in the market. And there's more. Tax laws were written by rich people to benefit rich people. A worker earning $100,000 a year might pay 30% in taxes. An investor receiving $100,000 in dividends pays 15%. A businessman who sells his company and makes $10 million can structure the operation to pay even less through legal loopholes that only expensive lawyers know. The game isn't just different, my friend. It's deliberately unfair from the start. It was designed to concentrate wealth at the top, not to distribute it. Social mobility exists enough to keep the illusion alive, but not enough to threaten the power structure. Modern advertising doesn't sell products, my friend. It sells identity. You think you're buying a car when you sign that 7-year financing? No, you're buying the image of success that car represents. You don't buy brand-name clothes, you buy belonging to a social group. You don't buy the latest phone, you buy status and validation. And this is where the trap closes perfectly. The system makes you work to earn money, then convinces you to spend that money on things that make you need to work even more. You get caught in a cycle where work generates consumption that requires more work, and at no point do you stop to ask who really benefits from this infinite cycle. Debt has become the modern chain, invisible but absolutely effective. Revolving credit card, car financing in 84 months, house payments for the next 30 years, payroll loan deducted directly from your paycheck. All surgically calibrated to keep the rope around your neck month after month, year after year. You don't work to live anymore, you work to pay for what you already consumed. The future was mortgaged to pay for the past, and the present is just constant anxiety. You have no peace because you're in debt, you have no choice because you need that salary to honor commitments, you have no freedom because any wrong move could bring down the fragile house of cards you call your financial life. Conspicuous consumption became a social marker and everyone entered this macabre dance. You need to show you're doing well, even if inside you're drowning in debt. You need the car of the year for the neighbors to see, the brand name clothes for colleagues to notice, the Instagrammable vacations to prove your life is good. And the more you try to prove externally that you're doing well, the poorer you become inside. You work to pay for things you don't need to impress people who don't care, while your real life, your only life, slips through your fingers financed in 24 interest-free installments. The cruel irony is you became a slave to appearances while calling it social climbing. There's an old saying that wealth is like seawater. The more you drink, the thirstier you get. The economic system depends on this infinite thirst, this permanent dissatisfaction. You can never be satisfied because satisfaction is the end of consumption, and the end of consumption is the collapse of the system. So they teach you from early on that happiness is in the next purchase, in the next improved version, in the next more modern model. You chase a horizon that moves away at the same speed you advance. You buy the new phone, feel that pleasure for 3 weeks, then the shine fades and you're already eyeing the next release. It's a hunger that's never sated, a quest that never ends. And you know what's most genius about this social engineering? It transformed your own desires into the fuel for your slavery. You're not just the worker, you're also the consumer. And these two functions feed each other, keeping you trapped in both. You work to consume and consume to need to work. It's a perfect loop where each end strengthens the other. The bank finances your car, you need the job to pay the bank, the job stresses you so you deserve that expensive vacation, the vacation goes on the credit card, the card charges absurd interest, you need more overtime to cover it, and the cycle restarts tighter each time. True freedom begins when you understand you don't need most of the things the system says you need. But to reach this understanding, my friend, you first need to face the emptiness you were trying to fill with consumption. You need to admit that car didn't make you happier, that brand name clothing didn't change who you are, that expensive trip didn't solve your internal problems. When you stop trying to impress others and start living for yourself, when you stop measuring success by someone else's standards and create your own criteria, that's when the chains start falling and you finally see how much of your life was wasted chasing things that never really mattered. So, my friend, here we are at the end of this journey. And now comes the question that really matters. What are you going to do with everything you just learned? Because knowledge without action is just entertainment. And I'm not here to entertain you. I'm here to wake you up. Are you going to keep pretending everything's fine, that following the herd is safe, that trading your life for a salary is dignified? Or are you finally going to admit you deserve more, that your life is worth more, that your time is too precious to be wasted enriching someone else's dreams? The hard truth is this: nobody's going to save you. Money won't fall from the sky. A magical opportunity won't appear. There won't be a perfect moment. Either you decide now that you're going to change the game, or in 10 years you'll be in the same place, just older, more tired, more regretful. And then it will be too late, my friend. The opportunities you ignored today won't be waiting tomorrow. The time you wasted doesn't come back. The life you could have built remains only in the realm of lost possibilities. So tell me something. When you look in the mirror 20 years from now, will you be able to face the person you could have been? Will you be able to accept that you chose comfort over freedom, fear over courage, conformity over transformation? Or will you be proud to say that when you discovered the truth, when you understood how the game really works, you had the courage to change? That you refused to accept the prison they offered you, that you built your own paths, that you lived on your own terms? Here's what I want you to do now. First, take a deep breath and accept that this restlessness you're feeling is good. It means you're still alive, that your soul hasn't been completely domesticated yet. Second, start small but start today. Learn about investments, about income-generating assets, about how to make your money work. Cut one unnecessary expense, that subscription you don't even use, that luxury that's just appearance. Take that money and invest in your future. Third, stop comparing yourself to the wrong people. The neighbors with the new car are probably drowning in debt. The colleague who shows off on social media is probably empty inside. Create your own criteria for success. If you made it this far, if this content touched something inside you, then I need to ask you something. Subscribe to this channel and activate the notification bell. Why? Because this conversation is just beginning, my friend. There are many more inconvenient truths you need to hear, many more illusions that need to be destroyed, much more knowledge the system doesn't want you to have. And I'll be here every week, bringing content that will continue expanding your consciousness about wealth building, financial freedom, and how to escape the matrix they put you in. Go to the other videos on the channel too. Watch what I say about financial education, about the mistakes that keep you poor, about how the rich really think. Each video is a piece of the puzzle, my friend. The more you learn, the clearer the complete picture becomes. And tell me here in the comments, what was the insight that impacted you most in this video? What are you going to start doing differently from today? This interaction isn't just for the algorithm, it's to create a community of people who are waking up, who are refusing the standard script, who are building a life with real purpose and freedom. My friend, before you go, I want you to know something. I believe in you. For real. I know the journey here hasn't been easy. Each of us carries our own battles, our own challenges, our own scars. Some had to fight against poverty, against lack of opportunities, others against systems that seemed designed to make them fail. And it's okay to acknowledge that. Life doesn't distribute the cards fairly, and pretending otherwise is dishonest. But here's what I also know. Inside you, there's a gigantic potential that hasn't been fully realized yet. Skills that haven't been developed, talents that haven't been explored, capabilities that are just waiting for the right opportunity to flourish. You have more inside you than you imagine, my friend. And the difference between the life you're living now and the life you could live is simply in recognizing that potential and having the courage to pursue it. We all have this possibility to do more, to be more, to contribute more. And when you improve your own life, when you conquer your freedom, when you build your wealth, you're not just helping yourself. You're creating an example for your family, for your friends, and for your community. You're proving it's possible to break the patterns, escape the traps, and rewrite the script. And that inspires other people to do the same. That's how we change the world, my friend. One transformed life at a time. So keep studying, keep learning, keep growing. The knowledge you acquire today is the most valuable investment you can make because nobody can take that away from you. Circumstances can change, the economy can fluctuate, but what you know, what you understand, what you developed, that stays with you forever. And each piece of wisdom you absorb leaves you more prepared for the opportunities that will appear. So reflect on this. I believe in you, my friend. Now it's your turn to believe in yourself. Until the next video.